What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Rent This Flip That, where we take properties that need a little bit of love and turn them into gold mines. That's right, we either flip them for profit or we hold them for rental properties. Now today we're in a property we're trying to get ready for Airbnb. We've done a lot of work on the property, but I'm inside one of the spare bedrooms right now, and the project today is to build a wood wall. Now we went down to the outlet mall and gathered up a bunch of pallets, and I started working on tearing those apart last night. Right now I'm going to lay this wall out. It's on 16-inch centers. I got my stud finder out and I went ahead and marked the walls. Now it's just a matter of taking my level and putting a plumb line all the way up. I think this is going to be very exciting and it's going to look awesome when we're done. So if you guys are looking for something like an accent wall that has that old rustic wood touch to it, then stick around because that's what we're going to be doing today. Alright, here we go. So I went ahead and notched these out, you see, like that. That way I can just go ahead and put it over the baseboard and not have to pull the baseboard or anything like that. If we ever have to tear it out, the baseboard will be there. Two and a half inch nails. You have 1.5 inches wood plus 1/2 inch drywall, so it is going into the stud 1/2 inch. Started to use screws, but I was like, that's gonna make huge holes, so I went ahead and used a 16 gauge right now. I may put some screws up at the top, 3-inch screws, just because this is all going to be one piece, and I don't want the whole thing to ever fall. So just some screws at the top to hold it. I think it'll be fine. I'm just going to make a couple control lines. Probably about every 2 foot, just to have something to pull off of as I'm putting these boards up. And kind of keep it straight as I'm going across. I figure instead of popping a line, I have a 6-foot level, so I'd rather make it level than just pull a number down, and pop a line. And then, you know, check and see what that number is over there. Hopefully we'll get lucky. And they'll be the same. Alright, now that I got that, now I can snap a line. I don't mind snapping a line off my level line. I definitely probably need to go check those and see how close they are. Alright, so I got the wall laid out on 16-inch centers, and if you have OCD, you might want to turn your camera off or plug your ears on this one, because the pallet wood is going to have to either be cut in sections, you know, like we lay out floor, big, little, big, little, big, little, or all the lines are going to be in the same spot, and I wanted them to break on the studs. And then my wife comes in, she was like, no, I don't need to break on a stud, it can just be ran however. And like, for example, right here where it lands on the stud, but then like right here it doesn't. What about that? That's not being supported by anything. She was like, it's not like an attic, like somebody's gonna be walking on it. And she was right about that, that's true. I got thinking about that. But just having that out in the middle like that just kind of bugs me. So what I did was cut a bunch of these, and then I can slide them behind when I'm doing splices, and then on 2 pieces, and that way it bridges that gap, and it helps to not be able to just break off. Somebody does happen to push in on that one specific board. Alright, here we go. Let's get these things installed. Alright, first one going up, y'all. Yeah, we have to use a bridge right off the rip. I wonder how many of those I'll have to cut. Probably have to cut a couple more. They're just going in. Alright, now let's do a dark one. I like them. I was out there pulling this wood off the pallets, you know, put on there. And I was like, I want to find all the stuff that looks mostly new, you know? And then as I started looking at my piles, I started realizing, oh man, you know what? You're not going to have any dark ones, so you're going to have to stain some. And I wanted to go looking at some pictures online. Nobody stained them. You want the dirty old ones. That's what makes it look awesome. So decided just to leave it the way it is. And of course, I'm going to break some of this off. I don't want to get splinters. Of course, nobody's going to get to the top and hit splinters. Anyway, just mix it up. Keep the old ones too. The broken ones, they work too. If you need to glue it back together to make yourself feel good, do that. But just drive a nail through the one side of each broke side and you should be fine. So I'm going to do this just like we would do flooring. So I do want to put that splice in. What's up guys? Alright, we are back in Alberta, Alabama at the wood accent wall, and it is the morning time. It's Friday morning. I was working on this Thursday night when I was with you guys and it got late, so I quit. So there's a couple things I wanted to go over with you if you are planning on doing an accent wall like this. Okay, so number one, if you have like a cabin or if you have a house that is more rustic, you know, more antique looking, then if you want that rustic like nature look that's just organically whatever, then you can straight rip the pallet wood right off the pallet and stick it up on the wall. Try to find wood that is pretty close or similar in width so that you can try to make some sort of straight lines. I made lines all on this thing, so I wanted to show you a couple things. Alright, so let's go take a look over here. If you just take the wood straight off of the pallet and you stick it on, sometimes you're going to run into like this, where this one was just a little bit more wider than this one, and now you have a little gap here, little gap right here, little gap right there. But in the process of doing that, I started creating some sort of a swoop here. So right here, you can see at this plank right here, this side is a little wider than this one is, and that is because I came in with a level and laid it across there, and all the way across here I drew a straight line to the end of this one, level. And then I had to come back with my Sawzall and my oscillating tool and cut that off straight. And that ended up being 2 7/8 right here. So the rest of these boards were 2 7/8 the rest of the way out. I'm telling you that because if you want that authentic look where it's just rustic and randomized, you can just take it straight off the pallet like I say and stick it up there. But you are going to have to deal with a gap here and a gap there. Now if you have a white wall behind like I do, one thing I would suggest is taking some felt paper and sticking it back there before you put the wood up. That way it does, when it gets to the eye level part, now you can see up at the top, it's dark in there and you can't see white wall. But once it gets to eye level, people may be curious poking back around there. It'd be nice if it's just black back there. So think about that. Put some felt paper across your studs before you put it up there. Now, if you're wanting to look a little bit more modernized, more clean look, then here's something I started doing. And you can tell about halfway down on this wall right here. What I did last night was I started taking my wood and running it through my table saw. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I have found in my experience that when I'm ripping off the pallet wood, one side of the wood is fairly straight and the other side may be a little bit crooked. If that's the case, you can run that through your table saw to get the other side straightened out, and then you can customize it the width that you want. That way all the boards are the same width. And last night I went through and I ripped some down 2 7/8, 3 1/4, 3 1/2, 3 5/8, 3 3/4, and then I actually had some that were wider, and that I actually used some fence material to get some of that long plank. It was brown on one side and brown on the other side, so I left one side brown, the other side, and I sanded some of them to make it even a more different color. That way I had different colors with long lengths. The idea is to get this thing as random as possible. So like I was saying, if you want a more straight, more clean look, then I went through there and ran them through the table saw and got them all in stacks, all uniform. So one row is all going to be 2 7/8. One row is all going to be 3 1/4. One row, I even got some out there that are like 5 inches. So as you can see up there in that area right there, I've put some wider ones in there. So that's what we're going to do today. I've decided to go the clean method for the rest of the way down. It's just working for me. I don't like building stuff that ain't straight. So we're drawing lines on the wall level, and we'll make sure we pull those to the lines, and we're making sure we're ripping these planks all uniformly one width on one row. So we're going to jump back into this wall, and you guys hang with me. Let's go. You know, I got that side and I got that side. I like the character on that side. Beautiful. Okay, now check this for level, just to see where we are. Dude, that is some money right there. I'm using 1 1/4 nails for those of you who are wondering, because these things are all around 1/2 inch. The most was 5/8 thick, so 1 1/4 inch, it's blowing through there like 3/4 of an inch. I think that's plenty. I didn't want to go through the 1 1/2 nailers into the wall, because I don't want a million holes over there that ever has, you know, to be redone. Alright, we got the box in, so just measure this thing out here. Looks like right there on the edge. We'll still have a little bit left over. From here to here. Right there. Alright, so it's the next morning, and it got late last night, and I had one whole piece going across here where I tried to cut around for this vent, and it just had a little strip here. And as I cut, it just broke apart, and I was like, well, I'll save those pieces and maybe glue them on later, and no. So I decided to go ahead and just take it from there to there, and then do a full piece so I could cut it out right there. and then it should be perfect. So that's what we're gonna do now. I got these. I know you look at these and sometimes you can't decide which side to put on the outside. I like the knot right there, but I like the nails too. So I think I'm just gonna go with this because it's more cleaner. We have a chip missing out right here. So I think I've learned a lot about myself on this project. This one's thick, so I want to go with something a little thinner. And this one's the same color. I mean, that's okay. It kind of will make it look like it's a long board or something, but I'll cut that in right there and splice it in right there, and then we'll have a good. Probably should go this way. Yeah, it's more cleaner. All right, guys. I like that. We'll go with that. Where's a speed square when you need one? All right, I'm gonna go cut this. I'll be right back. Alright guys, last piece. So I had to cope it there on the end there. Let's see how it fits. Oh, that looks good. Alright, so I'm gonna start this end in here. And just pop it in. Look at that, boy, that is snug. Look at that. Look at that. That's beautiful. All right. We are done. Now we just got to trim it out, and then we should be able to hang up the headboards and put the beds back in place and get this thing rented.